The alarm tears through the station before I even open my eyes, and my claws are already digging into the cold floor of my chamber before my mind catches up with my body. Red light floods the corridor outside my door. Something is wrong. Something is always wrong on this dying outpost, but this feels different. This feels close. My name is Sayura, and I am the last of my kind still breathing air, instead of sleeping through the centuries in a frozen box. 311 cryosleep pods line the walls of this station, holding the last survivors of a dozen broken worlds, and I am the only one who refused to join them. I told the station's mind, the quiet voice we call Warden, that I would not sleep until the one person who mattered to me walked back through that door. Warden thought I was foolish. Tonight, foolish or not, I am awake, and that might be the only reason any of us survive what is coming. The corridor shakes. Dust falls from the ceiling panels like gray snow. I press my palm against the wall and feel the vibration climbing through the metal, a heavy rhythm that does not belong to any machine I know. Something large has attached itself to the outer hull, and it is cutting its way inside. I run. Not away. Toward the cryosleep chamber, because those pods are the only thing left of everyone I have ever loved, and I will not let strangers touch them. My bare feet slap against the cold floor as I turn a sharp corner, and I nearly collide with a maintenance drone spinning in useless circles, its lights flashing a warning it cannot explain in words. I shove past it and keep running. Warden speaks into my ear through the small device clipped behind it, its voice steady even though the words are not calm at all. Unknown vessel has breached the eastern docking ring. Life signs detected. 7 individuals. Weapon signatures confirmed. 7 strangers with weapons, cutting into a station full of sleeping refugees who cannot even open their eyes to defend themselves. My chest tightens, but there is no time for fear to settle in. Fear is a passenger, not a driver. I learned that lesson a long time ago from the only human who ever treated me like I mattered. I reach the control room and slam my hand on the panel, sealing the door behind me. Screens flicker to life, showing grainy footage from the eastern ring. 7 figures move through the smoke in heavy suits, carrying tools that are clearly built for cutting metal, not for rescue. They are not here to help anyone, they are here to take. Warden, lock down every pod chamber, I say, my voice sharper than I expect. Already attempted. Their equipment is bypassing our security faster than I can counter it. I stare at the screen as one of the intruders raises a device toward the nearest row of pods, and my stomach drops. These are not simple raiders looking for scrap metal. They know exactly what they are looking for. Frozen bodies from vanished species sell for enormous sums to certain collectors who see suffering as a commodity. I have heard of this before, whispered rumors from traders who passed through years ago, but I never believed anyone could be cruel enough to make it real. I am not going to stand here and watch it happen. I move through the maintenance shafts, the only paths on this station I know better than my own reflection. The metal is tight and cold against my shoulders, but I have crawled through worse. Somewhere above me, footsteps echo through the main corridor, heavy boots moving with practiced confidence. They think this station is empty except for frozen cargo. They do not know I exist. That mistake will cost them. I drop down into a side corridor just behind 2 of the intruders, silent as breath. One of them, a tall man with a scar across his jaw, is speaking into a comm device strapped to his wrist. Team 2, start loading pods from Bay 4. We take as many as we can before station defenses reboot. There are no station defenses to reboot. Warden is old, worn down by years of neglect. Its weapon system stripped for parts long before I arrived here. The only defense this station has left is me, and I do not intend to fail. I slip into the shadows beside a support pillar and wait until the 2 men pass. Then I move behind them toward Bay 4, where dozens of pods hold beings who never asked to be part of anyone's war. My mind races through every option, and none of them involve fighting 7 armed strangers with my bare hands. I need something smarter than strength. Warden, can you vent the atmosphere in Bay 4 without killing the sleepers inside their pods? Pods are sealed and self-sustaining. Venting the bay will not harm them. It will, however, remove the intruder's ability to breathe without their suits. Do it on my signal. I creep closer, close enough to hear the intruders arguing over which pods are worth more. close enough to see the casual way they speak about lives, like they are counting coins. My anger burns quiet and controlled, the way Colin taught me anger should burn, not as a wildfire that destroys everything around it, but as a flame that lights the path forward. I reach the emergency console near the bay entrance and press my palm against the release panel. Now, Warden. The bay doors seal with a heavy hiss, and a moment later, alarms blare as the atmosphere begins draining outward through the emergency vents. Shouts erupt from inside the bay, panicked and confused, as the intruders scramble to seal their suits before the air runs too thin. I watch through the small viewport as they struggle, tools forgotten, greed replaced by pure animal panic. It will not kill them. It will only remind them that this station is not as helpless as they believed. While they struggle, I move to the docking ring, where their ship remains attached to our hull. If I disable their engines, they cannot leave with anything, and more importantly, they cannot call for reinforcements. My hands move quickly over the unfamiliar controls of their ship's exterior access panel, years of scavenging broken equipment on this station, finally paying off in a way I never expected. A voice crackles behind me, low and dangerous. Step away from that panel. I turn slowly, my ears flat against my skull, and find myself facing the man with the scar across his jaw. He must have slipped his suit on before the air fully vented, buying himself time to hunt me down instead of loading pods. His weapon is raised, aimed directly at my chest, and for a moment, everything in me goes still. I have survived the death of my entire world. I have survived 40 years of waiting alone on a forgotten station. I will not let this be how my story ends. You should not have come here, I say, keeping my voice steady, even as my heart pounds against my ribs. He laughs, short and humorless. You're the last one? The last little fox creature nobody bothered to sell? Lucky me. One more prize to bring home. Before he can take another step, a sound echoes through the docking ring, heavy boots striking metal, with a rhythm I would recognize anywhere, even after decades apart. My breath catches. It cannot be. Not now, not in the middle of all this. But it is. Colin steps into the ring wearing a battered flight jacket, older than I remember, silver threading through his hair, but his eyes are exactly the same, sharp and fearless, and unwilling to back down from anything. He must have arrived just as the alarms started, and instead of hiding, instead of waiting to see what happened, he ran straight into danger to find me. He does not hesitate. He moves fast for a man his age, closing the distance and driving his shoulder into the intruder before the man can turn his weapon away from me and toward this new threat. The weapon clatters across the floor, and the two men grapple for control, but Colin has the advantage of surprise, and within seconds, he pins the man against the wall with an old trick I remember him teaching me when I was small enough to fit in his coat pocket. Grab that gun, kid, he says through gritted teeth, and even after everything, even after 41 years, hearing him call me that, steadies something inside my chest. I snatch the weapon from the floor and aim it at the intruder, my hands finally steady. Colin releases him slowly, stepping back, and the man raises his hands, his earlier confidence completely gone. Call your team off, I say. Tell them to leave the pods and get back to your ship, or I promise you, none of you are leaving this station breathing. He hesitates only a second before speaking into his comm, ordering his crew to abandon the raid. One by one, the remaining intruders retreat toward their ship, defeated and confused, unable to understand how an empty, forgotten station managed to fight back. Once their ship finally detaches and disappears into the black beyond our viewport, I finally let myself breathe. Colin stands beside me, breathing hard, but smiling in that same reckless way he always did. Told you I would come back, he says, his voice softer now, tired but warm. I did not think it would happen like this, I answer, lowering the weapon and letting it fall from my shaking hands. He laughs, and the sound fills the empty docking ring, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Neither did I. But I have never been very good at boring entrances. We stand there together in the silence that follows, surrounded by pods holding the last remnants of worlds that no longer exist. And for the first time in 41 years, I do not feel like the only one left standing. I feel like someone finally came home, and together, We saved every single sleeper on this station from becoming nothing more than a stranger's prize. The waiting is finally over, and whatever comes next, I will not face it alone.